So, after taking this class, do I have the same perceptions about history that I did at the start of the semester? So, one of the things at the start of the semester that I had a kind of a pretty based perspective on was just like slavery. I feel like in this day and age, slavery is kind of pushed, especially a couple of years ago, it was pushed really bad, like reparations and stuff of that nature. Um, but I don't think that my perception on slavery has changed. And I still don't feel bad about it. Like, me personally, you know what I'm saying? Now, I feel bad that it happened, yes. But, like, I feel like I still had, I'm not part of that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I had stated that getting rid of slavery was gradual. And it kind of wasn't. It was just kind of like the Civil War happened. Abe Lincoln freed all the slaves, and then that was that. That weren't in the North, which is crazy. And then after the war, he freed them all. But yeah, it wasn't gradual. It was just kind of like, yes, it was gradual in the thought process of the people that like for instance, what's his name? John Brown. John Brown said it's time to meet slavery with violence. It happened just kind of overnight. It happened because I think because of the expansion or the threat of expansion of slavery. The threat of expansion of slavery really started putting people thinking like, do I really want to live in this country where everyone is equal, but yet we still stand for slavery? And I think that has kind of been the whole thing. That was what my essay was about, was that like the U.S. Constitution says everybody's created equal, but yet we aren't treating everybody as such. I think that specific reasons, examples is I think that's a good answer to the question one. I think that also like the expansion the expansion of slavery, the compromises over and over again, that never ending compromises. I think that was a big deal. I think that the Three-Fifths Compromise was like, all of these compromises were just kicking the can down the road over and over again, and it was oppressing the slaves because, like, I guess it was good that we kicked the can down the road because at that point in time, I don't know that the North would have won the war. You know what I mean? Like, if it didn't happen exactly how it did happen, who's to say, you know, we're not living in the Confederate States of America right now. You know what I mean? Which is wild to think about. Now, did the history you learned about in this class help you understand where we are today in America? I think so. I think that, like, think of politics, economics. I think that, economically wise, like, just, you know, realizing that, like, colonialism happened, all of those things, and then instead of really, I mean, yeah, we colonized. We have like the Philippines and Puerto Rico and stuff like that. Panama, the Panama Canal. But really, we just went west. But economically speaking, we basically did the same thing that all the other European powers did. We just had more land. And then on top of that, you know, the Industrial Revolution, you know, workers, instead of, you know, the Industrial Revolution basically got rid of slavery in and of itself because it just didn't make sense. You could make more money making textiles than you could doing cotton. I think that, like, now, like, as far as like race, gender, I definitely can see why people say that the patriarchy, the white men, you know, they've always been in power. and maybe there is a glass ceiling. I can see why they might say that, because it's always been that way. At least historically speaking, it has been, the white man has been in power and perpetually. But at the same time, I mean, there's also minorities in power. There's a Somali Senate leader. You know what I mean? So I think that all of those things kind of wrap into one. Like, yeah, I understand why people feel a certain type of way, but I also can see it from the other side. Like, hey, I don't see why they see it a certain way, because this is here. History, yeah. So I guess to answer the question, I would say that yes, the class helps me understand where we are at today, but not fully, because stuff has changed. And then there's things like people trying to say that they need reparations for what happened, hundreds of years ago. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the past 60 years have been basically, like equal. And even if you don't even want to agree with me on that, we can say like the past, at least the 90s, the 1990s to now. I mean, that's still like 40 years. But yeah, I understand why people of certain economics, certain people think that America isn't fair, but to me, I feel like America was built to have people with freedom and for people to work. That was the whole point. Whenever we came over here, you were expected to work your fields and make a profit. I don't think that it's much different anymore. It's just smaller. It's not working fields, it's working your job. It's, doing your thing, doing your job. One of the goals of core classes with History 2111 is to teach you skills, critical thinking, career-ready competencies that can be applicable in future college courses, and most importantly, potential careers. Did you learn any new skills or enhanced skills you already have? I think that just this format of talking has helped me to kind of like think about how I can talk to people. It's almost like giving a presentation. And then it also makes me think about like, okay, like whenever I'm sitting here writing down a paper, it's not the same as talking to somebody. Here, there's written language and then there's spoken language. And I feel like that this has helped me with both. But in particular, spoken language, just being able to talk to somebody about something like for real, like history, something that might even be controversial. You know what I mean? I think it has helped me to look back on history and and not just like U.S. I'm talking about like look back on yourself, history, and just think, why did I do that? Or why did this happen? Critical thinking is definitely something that I feel like what would possess a man to go fight for the loyalists? Freedom, right? They didn't care. Like, just things like that. Or like, I don't know, why is it bad for the U.S. to be involved in European wars, right? I think we know. I think it bleeds the American people dry. But we also have the military-industrial complex, which, neither here nor there. But to answer the last question, I would say that this class has helped me 100% with thinking harder about the problems that are in the U.S. I think that, like, in particular, it has shown me, like, I guess one of the big reasons why we have an illegal immigrant problem is because, like, we're pretty cool. You know what I mean? I'd want to be here too if I didn't live here already. I just really, I think I've learned a lot from this one, and if I can get you again in the future, I'm gonna try to, Patrol. Thank you.